Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jim with RealWorldPDR.com. So, I was going to make this a video lesson, then I realized I've got like 3 of real similar dents already as video lessons. I started this thing out with some Glexo to no avail. Glexo has a real hard time pulling through any kind of pressure, and there is plenty here. So, moved on to some of these big-ass tabs from Stanliner, and pretty much nothing. Hey, but whatever, this is PDR. Failure is all part of the game. So, let's move on. Let's try again. Maybe we ought to try to lift this thing with a K-bar, K-beam. Yep, no luck. Maybe we should switch our tabs. Yeah, let me, spoiler alert here, no luck. Today was not my day for glue. If you notice the glue that I'm using is not tab weld, that's pretty much what I blame it on. Remember, tab weld. Tab weld for the win, every time. So glue's giving me a giant fuck you today, so we're not gonna use it. Instead, we're going to use a big, wide, soft tip. Something exactly, shut up, Casper. Something exactly like this. So this is a swivel tip. Kiko produces them. Hey, who's that guy that does the swivel tips, Casper? Hayes Freeman swivel tip is what we're going to be using here. It's basically just this big thing. And the cool thing about swivel tip is that it swivels. So you always get some flat direct pressure with your soft tip. So we're going to do that because fuck glue. Glue's pissing me off right now. As I mentioned before, Real World PDR already has several lessons like this. So didn't see the need to make this exclusive content because we've got a bunch already. Now, those swivel tips work real nice. I find that those Dent craft rods are a little too flimsy for my liking, so I'm going to see if they have a bigger diameter that I could use. But those swivel tips do a really nice job in picking up large areas and keeping you from slip sliding all around because of the way that they swivel and let you push flat. Next, I am going to use this Blem double bend soft tip. Blem soft tips are the best on the market if you're asking me, and if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you are. So this entire process is all part of the graduated system that I teach on RealWorldPDR.com. Basically, what we're trying to do is keep the texture in line all the way through this dent. We don't want to screw it up to begin with because that makes a hell of a lot more work that you have to deal with towards the end. So let's avoid that altogether. That graduated system works really well. Also, we're going to talk a lot in this type of tutorial about crown flow and how to move these crowns to work with you. We're not doing any kind of perpendicular motion. We are replacing this displaced metal. Also, I teach you how to do these kind of dents quickly, because in PDR time is money. Very directly so. This dent took me about 3.5 hours all told. That includes finishing work. By the time I stopped on this first day, I probably had another half hour. So let's call it 4 hours total, and this dent was done. Some new features that we've added to RealWorldPDR.com are a whole tool section where we talk about tools. That seems to be a very popular topic. Also, we're going to talk about how to build and grow a retail shop. How did we grow our shop from nothing to grossing $1 million in 1 year in 3 years? That's quite the feat, took quite a lot of effort, but we made it happen, and I'll show you how as well. And as always, all of these tutorials are 100% no bullshit, no fluff, no sales, even though this probably kind of feels like sales for RealWorldPDR.com. Why? Because it is. But you can still see the process here, and I hope you enjoy it. And if nothing else, maybe you can appreciate the fact that I was at least upfront and honest with you about it. Speaking of honesty, let's talk about why I wear a hat all the time. I think this should illustrate that. This is why I wear a hat, because I'm bald. It's a problem. I don't know what to do about it. Any suggestions, let me know in the comments. You may have noticed that I have turned my working position around 180 degrees. That's called a cross check. If you want to feel really good at dents, never do that. Ever. Because then you'll realize how much you missed and how much you still suck. That's how I felt when I did it this time. But if you want to actually be good at repairing dents, cross check often. I show you when, how, and why it's so damned important at, you guessed it, www.realworldpdr.com. Okay, so at this point in this dent, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go through any of these little high spots that I've left, any of these little low spots, and I'm going to try to move my body a lot because that's what's going to give that nice finish. The more angles I can see this thing from, the better. In the background, that's Casper. He's real mad at a dent. He's fighting it. He needs to listen to some realworldpdr.com. Stop fighting dents, Casper. Okay, for the rest of this video, we're going to look at a whole lot of finishing work. Pay attention to how much my body is moving. The more angles that I can see this dent from, the better. Here coming up, you're going to see what exactly we're aiming for here. It's a lot of real tiny lows, real tiny highs, but that is the precision it takes for finishing work. Another question I get asked a lot about is finishing work. Perseverance and patience, my friends. That's how you finish dents. Okay, so that about does it here. So let's take a look at some of the tools that I used. I started off with this dent craft with Hayes Freeman's tips on here. So they just snap on there. Now that's what got the bulk of that moving when glue failed. Then switch to a Blim soft tip rod. Love these things, they're great. In my humble opinion, Blim makes the best soft tips. Definitely buy those. Then I pretty much moved on to a variety of stand liner tools. So snakes. These snakes are awesome. The reason they're awesome is because you can push and push, and it's really hard to cause a whole lot of texture with them because of the way they're shaped. Obviously, as you push harder because of that curve, more surface area is touching that metal. So it's going to give you more resistance. That's why it's hard. With a sharp tip, you can just push right through, break the paint, get big high spots. Not so much with these. These are really great if you want to maintain your texture. Now, when it got time to do the fine tuning work though, I did switch to this Reaper rod. Really super sharp tip here, and that gets all those little detaily things out of there. Now what's really important to note here is how I started this dent. I've got plenty of videos on finishing. Starting this out is paramount because the way you start it is often indicative of the way that you're going to finish it up. So for leverage, I've got a dent dial right here. I've got a dent dial right here. Awfully expensive way to gain leverage, but it works. I was able to spring this through here, and that kept me from sliding up and down with these tools. Worked out pretty well. Also, I did use the D-ring. First time I've been able to successfully use that thing. I don't really recommend it, to be quite honest with you. And nothing against the guy who designed it, I just don't like the tool. Other stand liner snake. Last tool I used was this crane, only because the bend was just right where I can get in here. Gave me plenty of leverage for that bend. So that's the tools I used there. I would have loved to start this out with glue, but you saw the glue was failing me tremendously. And that's it. So that's how we take dent like this, a little bit of R&I work, a little bit of time. I think I had about 3 hours of this, and we are done. It might use maybe a wet sand in the morning, maybe a little bit of fine tuning work, but I'm not scheduled in tomorrow, so I'm not going to piss with it. So we'll let Casper deal with that. Fuck Casper.